So, Lezo is an AI-powered career platform that matches cool companies with cool candidates, based not on their titles, but based on their skills and their experience. So that we help to find your right person much faster, and or your career possibilities much faster, and spend much less time, money, and hopefully to make the whole hiring process less exhausting for both sides, companies and candidates.
So AI is technology that is at the core of your product, right?
Oh, yes. Basically, right now we use AI to analyze profiles and vacancies plus companies, so that we could find a better match. But we do not use AI to make a match itself, because the matching is based on our own algorithm. It's based on vector databases and semantic search, but AI helps us greatly to create those very deeply and huge profiles of information on each person.
And can you share a story how this idea actually came to light?
Oh yeah, I would really love to tell you that one day I just woke up and I got the idea. Oh, I know how to change the world of hiring, but unfortunately, no, it didn't go that way. So I should probably start a little bit with my experience, because I've been working for whole my life, and when I say whole my life, I mean 7 years, in creative and tech educational company called Projector. It's one of the biggest tech companies in Ukraine, and I already knew greatly our audience, the need of our students and alumni. And we always thought in Projector that our biggest challenge is to combine education with the career. So we had idea that we want to do something for career development for years now. But it was only last year when I started. I was head of product and I was working on educational part, and it was only last year when I started thinking about, okay, what can we actually do? And it was a path of a lot of research. We conducted interviews, we conducted experiments with, for example, mentor recruiter who was helping a group of people to find their perfect job fastly, but it didn't work. So we also conducted a lot of surveys, and we were trying to find out what can we do. And finally, I understood that the problem is that right now the process looks like looking for a needle in a haystack, because, for example, product manager in one company and product manager in other company will need completely different set of skills and completely different experiences. And it's not only about product managers, but at the same time, a lot of positions and a lot of companies do not even know how to call their positions. And it's all comes to skills rather than names. And that's how I got an idea. And it was also supported by global trends, because I was also researching about what is happening in the hiring world. And there was, for example, a report from World Economic Forum, Future of Jobs report last year, when it will be probably a little bit shocking for everyone, but 7 out of 10 people in 5 years will need to reskill and change their work, because our market will change that much. So that this process of reskilling and searching for new people with new skills will be a constant problem for both sides, actually. And the other trend is skills-based hiring, which is also developing, but right now it's working only when, for example, recruiters, they are learning portfolios and CVs of candidates. They are trying to understand the experience, and then they're trying to get if this experience will match to our position. So we decided to make an instrument that will automate this process and make it faster.
Wow, that's impressive. And actually, that's by the book in a way. So customer research, customer development interviews, a good insight on the market backed by reports. from World Economic Forum. So really, really great to see that amount of work that you put in before founding Lezo. Could you tell a bit more what stage you're currently at in terms of activities and your plans?
We just launched officially on the market this February. Before that, we were on the stage of experiments and beta testing, and actually we launched a beta version, which was just a chatbot a long time ago, and it was only to collect the audience so that we could conduct different experiments and try to match them better. And right now, we are passing this stage from MVP into the full-scale product. We just launched in May our web service for companies, and in June, I'm not sure when will this podcast launched, but in June we are launching our version for candidates, so that we will leave our chatbot behind. And also we at the same time are growing fastly. Since the beginning of year, we became much 2 times bigger already. We are also continuing growing like 20% months over months. And our next stages is like to complete our whole service, and then to come back to research and development for the improvement of our algorithm and matching.
Sounds exciting. Do you look at Ukraine as a start to pilot the solution, or you already have plans to go global?
We are planning to go global by the end of this year, and we had to launch in Ukraine because here we have an unfair advantage, which is projector and huge amount of audience, super cool specialists in creative and tech spheres already. So because here we have free audience, we decided to start here, but right now we're working already on our strategies to launch on new markets. Hopefully we will start this process by the end of 2024.
Well, as Seeds of Bravery has a number of programs to support startups actually entering European markets, so we do hope to work with you on multiple directions, helping you to succeed in Ukraine and beyond, of course. Probably the one part of conversations that I would like to have is around AI, because kind of everyone speaks about AI. Maybe not everybody understands AI, but we have some who utilize AI to build great products, to build something that people want. Probably, if we can zoom out to extent, a couple of questions around AI. Would your product be possible without AI, and how do you see the AI revolution that is coming now?
Our product would be probably possible without AI, but I'm not sure that our business model would, because it would be highly operational. We would need dozens of professional recruiters just going through different CVs and portfolios so that they could match manually people and understand manually their skills and experience. And to be honest, a long time before I started with Lezo, when we got those first ideas of career development, their initial idea was very similar, because the idea was to match by designers by portfolio, and there would be real life mentors that would estimate level of designer by different, for example, UX, UI skills, research skills, and so on, and then by scoring system match with the right vacancies. But the problem was that it was impossible to implement in real life. The value that we were bringing was not enough to cover all the expenses. And right now we're using AI to automate this process and cover the expenses. And I think it's the main it's not a magic pill, actually, that I wanted to tell. It's not the magic that AI does. It's something that we actually invented, and AI just helps us to automate it and accelerate it as an instrument.
One of my insights on AI in Ukraine is that it's probably even underhyped in a way. Because when you're in SF in Bay Area, everybody speaks about AI. Every single person, they speak about OpenAI, Claude, Gemini, and many other model solutions companies. Back here, it's more about OpenAI equals AI, and that's it. But nevertheless, would be also interesting to hear your take on how can we boost the interest to AI in Ukraine, whether it's enough, the number of conversations and the level of conversations that we have.
It's actually a good question, because what I understood from implementing, for example, AI instrument for our team, that first of all, most people are skeptical, especially those people that have a technical background. It was the longest way for our team, for developers, to start to implement AI in their work more than anyone else, designers, copywriters, and so on. So I don't think that it is possible just to tell everyone use AI and you will succeed. No, but there are a number of ways how, for example, even if there are more products that already implemented AI and they're successfully used just to make life a little bit better, it would help to persuade other founders that they also need it. Another thing is about explaining how exactly it can be implemented. I had a lecture a couple of months before about how exactly can AI be implemented for products, and in what cases it can be usable, in what cases no, and when you should decide if you should build your own model at all, and when to use an OpenAI. And I think that's something, it's about telling more about real cases and not like talking about AI, about magic pill, because I think in our area people are just more skeptical about magic pills. But when we talk about it in real life, it would work much better.
True, absolutely. I recently saw a Twitter post that over the last 50 to 60 years, it's been through technological revolutions. First being chips and then semiconductor, second being web and software, everything related to that, and now it's the wave of AI revolution or AGI revolution. Does it resonate with you, these kind of statements?
Oh, of course, completely. And I can talk, for example, about the context of my product, the sphere of my product, which is hiring and recruiting and the job market. And I'm completely sure that it would influence greatly positions, jobs, skills that people need. So it would change the whole image of the industry and job market. But I also know that a lot of people are scared of that. And of course, every change is sometimes a bit scary, but also I think that it's important for us to tell about good scenarios, how exactly it could influence all these fears. For example, in Lezo, we are joking that Lezo is the first AI tool that will not take your job, but that will offer you.
Yeah, so great question. We are three co-founders, and one of the co-founders is Dima. We studied together in the same university in Dnipro in Ukraine, and basically he has a background in product and design. He worked in companies like Jubal and Ask.fm as a product manager, scaled recommendation systems used by over 10 million people, so has lots of experience in product. And then he studied design in London, and this is where he lives right now. Then our CTO, Alex, he has experience. Basically, he worked for over 6 years at Wix.com. When they opened their office in Kiev, he was one of the first employees, then scaled it, and then he joined us, basically as a co-founder, as technical co-founder. And yeah, when it comes to me, most of my background is in sales and recruitment. So I worked at companies first in Warsaw in Poland. I studied there at the company called Cadility. There I work across sales and recruitment. And then I joined N26, which is a mobile bank in Berlin. It's like a monobank in Ukraine, but mostly for German and European market. So there I was leading technical hiring, and basically, yeah, that's our experience. And then after working in recruitment, and when Dima worked as a product manager, we kind of both quit our jobs and started our first business, which was a recruitment staffing agency. We're hiring engineers across companies in Europe. So it was like around 5 years ago when we started the first business, and that kind of experience led us to create Blue Dot.
Sounds really amazing, as you have a very diverse team and you've made the business together. So from what I hear from our founders and co-founders, they already worked with these people. They already did a lot of projects together. So it makes the product successful and the startup successful as well, because you already know the working patterns and a lot of this stuff. However, there are different cases. So it's your case. And how did the idea of this project originate and how it evolved? Because obviously, right now we have a lot of different trends on the market to, to make this AI note taking in different ways. Different huge players such as, I don't know, Apple, such as WhatsApp and other products, they are using this. So tell us more about this idea and how it evolved.
So basically, as I said, like we had this agency with Dima that was our first business, and like we scaled it at a certain point to like 15 consultants. We had people mostly in Ukraine, a few in Europe and in South America, and we always kind of had challenge with documenting information during the client calls or the hiring recruitment calls. And people never kind of had time. I know they were either lazy. I'm lazy as well, like taking notes all the time, and like lots of people are lazy as well in terms of that, like updating CRM. And we tried different tools on the market. We saw that none of them kind of really served the needs. And it was, it was like 3 years ago when we first kind of had the idea. There was no like open AI and ChatGPT to really like automate notes well. So we tried different models. We were playing around with the idea, and then around, I would say 2.5 years ago is when, like, first of all, our agency started going down, like, and we thought, okay, like we really want to build a product. We want to scale something, because agency didn't really. It's hard to scale agency business overall, but the recruitment agency in particular. And that's when we started like working on Blue Dot, like first iterations. We had MVP. We mostly invested our own money. Then we like launched kind of first MVP, raised a little bit from angels, and initially our idea was different. So initially we wanted to target like enterprises, and we wanted to build like a one unified place for all of your company-wide meetings. So you get the transcription. Summaries were not even like a big part of it. Initially it was like about, hey, let's collect all the recordings that you have, because of the COVID. Everyone started like doing meetings online, so companies are recording. So let's make this whole experience of like recording, finding information, transcribing faster, and that's how we started. But then, I wouldn't say quickly, because it took us time to build the first prototype, first version. But it took us around, I would say, like a year to realize that the first hypothesis wasn't right, because we couldn't really sell it to enterprises. And that's when we started like building, let's say, second version, what you see right now, which is different. And I can elaborate on that more, unless you have more questions, so I can
Yeah, please do. So we would love to understand the milestones, how you developed. So you had an initial version, then you understand that this is not sellable to corporations, and then you started thinking of the other version.
Yeah, so basically, initially we were trying to sell to corporations, and we realized it's hard, and we tried to sell it to not only corporations, but to any. So our idea was that we would sell it to like remote engineering teams first. So we were like trying to find engineering managers or like engineering leaders in remote companies. They kind of liked the idea initially, and they were saying like, yeah, when it's like live, send us the link. So we were like, we made this first mistake of trusting people saying how cool is the product, but like when we already had the first prototype that, well, it's not prototype, it was like a working version that was solving the problem that we initially discussed, all these people that we had on our like waiting list and our Slack channel, all of that turned out to be not real because they didn't want to pay, and they were like coming up with reasons why not to continue. Like, oh, if you would add this, this would be cool. And like it was so frustrating. It's like one of the let's say mistakes I think lots of founders do, not only us, and something I recommend anyone is like try to validate the idea with the first payment as fast as possible. Like don't really trust all this hey, this is cool product, like of course I would try it, we would trial it, like all of that isn't worth a penny. Like you because unless you raise lots of money and you don't care about revenue. We didn't raise a lot, so we really had to get profitable and make money as fast as possible. So we made this mistake. We burned through our personal funds, and we fortunately raised from some angels. We got to Google for startups. They invested in us, and that's when we did the pivot. And instead of building this enterprise top-down sales-led kind of product, we created a Chrome extension that is easy to use. It's easy to install. You can get the value immediately, not like before we had to onboard, show everything. And we basically launched the product on Product Hunt. We gave it to people from our network to try, and that's when we saw, okay, people are interested. So instead of giving free version to everyone, because lots of products in our niche, they have like a free version, because we wanted to be profitable as fast as possible and not rely on investors' money, we created like the free trial. You can record up to 5 recordings, and after that you have to pay. And people just love the tool. I can tell more why they love the tool, but eventually like people started paying. We saw the validation. We got to first $100 per month, which was like, it felt amazing after a year of having nothing. And then another than 1,000, then 10,000, and we are basically growing every month like double digits. So yeah.
Do I understand it correctly that you changed the business model from the enterprise to B2C
Yeah.
model where people can work on that? Okay, awesome. And can you tell the approach to this go-to-market and to the sales which you use right now? Do you use the paid marketing, or you use the recommendation engine, or you somehow build the growth engine inside the product? How it works for you?
So I would say like that initially our everything we were doing was manual. So I would reach out to people from network to Slack channels. Was like trying to give everyone the opportunity to try the product, and some of them liked it and started using, because the product is kind of like inherently viral, because you record something, then you share it with your colleagues, people get to know. So I would say that like majority of our leads, of our customers, are coming through word of mouth. And I know that because when I reach out to a lot of our customers, even now when we have like lots of them, I still reach out each time someone signs up or someone pays, and like asking, how did you learn about us? And majority of people are saying, hey, my colleague use it, or like I'm part of this community, someone recommended. So lots of recommendation. And that's the first. Like second is like not paid ads, but collaboration with newsletters, with creators. That's something we've been doing from the beginning. And that's something that I wouldn't say that now it's the biggest part of our growth, but at the beginning it definitely boosted. So there are lots of newsletters right now. It became so popular, like everyone started a newsletter. And we found newsletters in AI niche and like productivity niche. And we first initially, like I was manually trying to find newsletters, reach out to the creators, offer partnership. We pay them fixed price. They mention us in their newsletter. But then we found a platform called Passion Fruit, guys from Berlin. I know the founders, like they're doing really good tool, which basically aggregates. It's like a marketplace where you can connect with creators, or like newsletter, like they're different creators. Like you can pay for LinkedIn post, for newsletter post, whatever. And at some point we were like sponsoring like 10 newsletters per month, which is not expensive, because some of them like they charge $100, $150, but you pay like $100. You have to negotiate a lot, but you pay $100, and then they, for example, send information about you to like 10,000 of their subscribers. From this 10,000, 5,000 will read, 100, 150 will click and check the tool.